If you've been paying close attention to the K-pop industry, you've probably noticed that HYBE and SM artists barely acknowledge each other's existence despite working in the same industry and promoting at the same music shows. The truth is, this isn't about the idols themselves having beef, it's about two entertainment giants locked in a corporate war that's turned their artists into pawns who can't publicly interact without risking serious consequences. One of the most obvious examples of companies using their artists as weapons in corporate warfare, according to netizens, happened at the peak of the HYBE and NewJeans drama when NewJeans and aespa suddenly became best friends overnight despite barely acknowledging each other's existence for years prior. Before the scandal took the industry by storm, you could count the interactions of these two groups on one hand. However, the moment NewJeans turned against HYBE and leaked internal documents revealed that Bang Si-hyuk had explicitly told Min Hee-jin he wanted to crush aespa, the girls were suddenly taking photos together, doing dance challenges for each other's comebacks, and praising one another in interviews like they'd been close this whole time. The timing seems so calculated that even fans who wanted to believe in genuine friendship between the two groups started thinking that this new connection felt strategically orchestrated. When aespa released Armageddon and NewJeans dropped How Sweet around the same time, the two groups participated in each other's dance challenges, with Karina and Giselle joining Minji and Heron for one video, while Ningning and Winter appeared with Danielle and Hani for another. Netizens theorized that the girls were creating content that sent a very clear message to everyone watching. They were united against a common enemy, and that enemy was HYBE. From a PR perspective, netizens believe the move was absolutely brilliant for both sides, which is exactly why they argued it felt less like an organic friendship and more like a corporate strategy. They claimed that for NewJeans, publicly associating with aespa, the group that HYBE's chairman allegedly wanted to destroy, was a powerful way to solidify their position as being against the company rather than just another HYBE group caught up in internal drama. In the eyes of the fans, the girls essentially told the world that they refused to be pawns in Bang PD's rivalry games. But SM Entertainment arguably benefited even more from this strategic friendship because aespa's decision to embrace NewJeans during their darkest moment was a way of showing they weren't intimidated by HYBE's plans while simultaneously aligning themselves with the group that was actively fighting back against them. Ultimately, aespa was the group that was able to keep promoting normally while NewJeans was stuck in legal limbo. According to netizens, this way, aespa came out looking like the bigger, more stable act that was gracious enough to support their struggling peers, gaining positive publicity and sympathy, while NewJeans dealt with contract disputes and uncertain futures. If you ask some fans, what really gave away the calculated nature of this friendship was how quickly the public interactions faded once the biggest part of the drama blew over, and there were no more tangible benefits for either side to continue performing closeness for the cameras. While Karina had previously stated that, regardless of corporate drama, aespa and NewJeans would always be on great terms, the reality is that we haven't seen nearly as many interactions between the groups now that the HYBE situation has evolved and NewJeans is no longer actively promoting music, suggesting to some that maybe the friendship was always more about strategy than genuine connection. SM is quick to flip the script when interactions between their artists and HYBE groups stop serving their interests, because while they were more than happy to let aespa buddy up with NewJeans when it made HYBE look bad, the company has a long and well-documented history of preventing their idols from publicly acknowledging BTS or other HYBE acts when there's nothing to gain from the association. The most recent example of this came from NCT Wish member Xion, who accidentally revealed SM's alleged company politics during a fan sign event in Shanghai. During the event, a fan asked Xion if he could do the Killin' It Girl dance challenge that was originally performed by BTS's J-Hope, and instead of just saying yes or no, Xion admitted that he wanted to do it badly but couldn't because of their company, though he did end up performing a very brief snippet of the dance anyway. The implication that SM Entertainment was actively preventing him from participating in a simple dance challenge with a BTS member's song immediately set off alarm bells for fans who have watched this company wage a one-sided Cold War against BTS for over a decade. Many fans pointed out that SM's bizarre hatred of the group goes all the way back to at least 2014, when the company was allegedly telling people in the industry not to work with BTS and to collaborate with their groups instead, dismissing BTS as just an experiment and filler group that wouldn't amount to anything. Xion's confession had reignited long-standing rumors that SM Entertainment has an internal rule explicitly banning their artists from mentioning HYBE groups by name, specifically BTS, and from participating in dance challenges or covering their songs, which would explain why SM idols always seem to tiptoe around acknowledging one of the biggest acts in the world. The most famous example of this alleged policy was when NCT members were asked about times people mistook them for other groups, and instead of just saying BTS, they awkwardly referred to them as that group. Some netizens, however, have pushed back against the conspiracy theories, suggesting that Xion's comment might have been specific to NCT Wish rather than a company-wide ban, possibly related to boring business reasons like contract issues, scheduling conflicts, or timing problems that have nothing to do with decade-old company wars. Regardless of what the current situation is with NCT Wish, another issue is that SM has an alleged documented history of trying to sabotage HYBE groups like BTS from the very beginning of their career. One of the biggest pieces of evidence came from US songwriter Nate Walka, who worked as a mentor on BTS's show Bangtan Boys American Hustle Life alongside Tony Jones and others. He recently did an interview that reportedly exposed SM's attempts to undermine the group before they had even established themselves in the industry. During the interview, Nate shocked fans when he alleged that while he was preparing to work on the BTS show, SM had been running a writing camp for EXO at the exact same time and actively tried to persuade him not to participate in the BTS project, instead pressuring him to come work with EXO, who had a #1 record at the time. SM representatives allegedly told Nate that BTS was not worth his time, as they weren't going to succeed in the industry anyway. SM's tactics went far beyond just trying to discourage collaborations with specific groups, though, because reportedly, the company has been operating large-scale media manipulation campaigns allegedly designed to destroy HYBE's reputation while protecting their own image, spending obscene amounts of money to flood the internet with fake opinions. In early 2022, during the heated SM-HYBE management dispute when HYBE was attempting to take over SM Entertainment, exclusive Telegram chat logs obtained by TenAsia exposed that SM had supposedly contracted a PR agency for over $1 billion to run a coordinated public opinion manipulation operation. During this time, company employees were allegedly actively writing posts in a community tone and providing specific discussion points for the viral marketing team to spread across platforms like Thaiku and Instits. SM didn't just want positive coverage for themselves. They reportedly wanted to terrify the public about what would happen if HYBE succeeded in acquiring them. They instructed marketing firms to push stories claiming that HYBE would force SM artists to disband, just like they allegedly did with GFriend, NU'EST, and Pristin. The problem was that at least one of these claims was obviously false, since Pristin had disbanded in May 2019, a full year before HYBE even acquired Pledis Entertainment in May 2020, proving that SM was willing to spread outright lies if it meant damaging HYBE's reputation and stopping the acquisition. If true, the level of coordination and deception was genuinely shocking, with SM employees asking if they could post truck protest photos against HYBE on specific community sites, and the marketing team taking measures to avoid detection by making their posts look organic rather than paid propaganda. If you think this is just a story about SM Entertainment being the villain while HYBE is innocent, you're wrong. It's time to acknowledge that HYBE has been just as petty and willing to tear down their competitors behind closed doors, and sometimes even publicly. HYBE's internal documents exposed exactly what their executives think about other companies' artists. These files, which quickly became one of the biggest scandals in recent K-pop history, revealed that HYBE has been systematically monitoring and trash-talking dozens of non-HYBE artists, with SM groups being some of their favorite targets for petty insults and backhanded criticism. Rise, for instance, got dragged multiple times, with HYBE analysts nitpicking everything from Anton's skills to Wonbin's facial structure. They even went as far as to claim that while some parts of Wonbin's face are attractive, they don't harmonize completely. The analysts even suggested that his styling team kept him in a beanie constantly to compensate for proportions that were surprisingly lacking. The level of detail in these critiques was genuinely disturbing, showing that HYBE wasn't just casually observing their competition, but actively dissecting every visual and performance element to find weaknesses they could exploit or feel superior about. But HYBE's nastiest comments were reserved for the groups they saw as direct threats to their own artists, with aespa and IVE both getting slammed for allegedly having bad performance skills that would ultimately be their downfall. The document smugly claimed that no matter how many popular songs IVE or aespa have and how much public recognition they gain, it'll come down to their performance skills during their tours that make or break the reactions from fans, adding that this would soon be proven in numbers. HYBE even managed to insult multiple companies in a single sentence when discussing what was likely SM's Hearts to Hearts, the girl group that eventually debuted at the beginning of 2025, with executives writing that none of them are pretty and wondering if SM's trainee infrastructure was even worse than Baby Monsters, essentially using YG Entertainment's girl group as the baseline for supposed lack of visual appeal while simultaneously dragging both companies' ability to produce attractive idols. So if you ever wondered why HYBE and SM artists seem to exist in parallel universes, now you know the real reason has nothing to do with the idols actually disliking each other. The harsh reality is that both companies are drowning so deeply in petty rivalry and desperate attempts to maintain dominance that they're willing to sacrifice creative collaborations between their artists just to avoid giving their competition any perceived advantage. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.